criminology. Fascinating science. By using the tools of the trade, specialists can reconstruct the scene of a crime, sometimes down to the smallest detail. But what happens when the scene of a crime is so baffling, the crime becomes impossible to analyze through science? It's then that detectives must turn to their greatest tool of all, the human mind. Detective Bill Ballard has a mind that is capable of both analysis and invention, and is going to need both skills to solve the strangest case of his career.
I'd been a homicide detective with the Beverly Hills Police for the past 10 years, and I'd seen a lot. But a murder in a locked funeral home, that was a first. So the question was, how was he killed? The second victim was lying on the floor next to the casket, with a knife sticking out of her chest. Something was out of whack, and then it dawned on me. There was no blood from the wound. The woman had already been dead for a few days and was probably in that coffin.
Hey, Ballard. Have you ever seen one like this before?
Never. Why would anybody stick a knife in a corpse?
6 times. And how did you wind up on the floor?
Good question. She didn't just jump out of her coffin. What about the guy by the door?
Well, my guess, he was probably poisoned, entered through the wound in his hand. We'll know more after the autopsy.
Thanks, Angela. What the hell went on here? A corpse stabbed repeatedly outside the coffin? Some instinct told me to check around the coffin. Somebody'd spent a lot of money for this send-off. That's how she got out.
Hey, Bill.
Did you find the funeral director?
Yeah, he's pretty shook up. I think he never saw a dead body before. The corpse's name is Miriam Jacoby. She died 3 days ago in a traffic accident. She was loaded. I mean, we're talking big money. The guy over there is her third husband, Daryl.
So he came to pay his respects.
Yeah, looks like it. You know, the funeral director told me that his wife took him out of her will completely.
If this is real, it's got to be worth a couple of $1 million.
Nah, that's real. You know, she had some pretty strange requests in her will. The body was delivered here yesterday with specific instructions that no one was to open the coffin. And then she wants to be buried wearing this hunk of ice. What a waste, huh?
Somebody thought so.
Well, so what do you think?
It was a botched robbery.
What? How? Who?
Daryl Jacoby didn't come to pay his last respects to his dead wife. He came to steal her diamond necklace. He slipped into the room and made sure he was alone. He used his buck knife to jimmy open the lock. The same knife that ended up in her chest. Then he reached in and grabbed a hold of the necklace. That released a barbed metal spike that shot down and punctured his hand. This ticked him off, so he yanked on the necklace even harder. That's when the spring mechanism kicked in.
This is really incredible.
Careful. I'm sure it's still covered with poison.
Who do you think rigged it?
My guess, Mrs. Jacoby.
What?
She probably left instructions with her lawyer.
Yeah, but if she didn't want her husband to take it, then why did she wear it?
It was bait. She knew he'd come after it, and she wanted him dead.
Yeah, but why?
Who knows? She must have cut him out of the will for some reason.
All right, let's say everything happened the way you think it did. How'd the corpse get out of the coffin?
As Jacoby struggled with the corpse, he pulled her free and they both fell to the floor. At this point, he's totally spooked and very angry, so he stabbed her repeatedly. All that activity caused the poison from the spike to kick in quickly. He was desperate to get out of the room and away from the nightmare. He got as far as the door. Mrs. Jacoby knew what kind of man her husband was, and she rigged a trap to snare him.
You're amazing. I mean, this all fits.
No. No, it doesn't all fit.
What do you mean?
The scratches on Jacoby's face. Where did they come from?
I don't know. You probably got him earlier.
If he got those scratches somewhere else, then why is there fresh skin and blood under her fingernails?
Were the scratches on the husband's face a result of the struggle with his wife's corpse? If not, how do you explain the samples of fresh skin and blood under the wife's nails? Could the crime scene have been manipulated by a third party, or is it possible that the wife's restless spirit returned to her body for one last act of revenge? Is this story open to a judgment of truth, or have we placed the last nail in a coffin of lies?